Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something very important. We are going to talk about how to speak better in English. Maybe you can understand English, but when you try to speak, you feel nervous. Maybe you know many words, but you do not know how to put them together. Maybe you can read English, but speaking feels difficult. If this sounds like you, do not worry. You are not alone. Many English learners have the same problem. The good news is that you can improve your speaking. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to practice in the right way. Step by step, your English can become clearer, easier, and more natural. When I first started learning English, speaking was not easy for me. Way, foal. I knew some words, but I was afraid to use them. When someone asked me a question in English, I thought too much before answering. I worried about grammar. I worried about pronunciation. I worried that people would laugh at me if I made a mistake. Because of this fear, I sometimes stayed quiet. I thought that maybe I needed to learn more words before I could speak. But later, I understood something very important. You do not become a better speaker by waiting. You become a better speaker by speaking. This simple idea changed the way I learned English. The first thing you need to do is speak every day. You do not need to speak for 1 hour. You can start with just 5 minutes. 5 minutes may sound very small, but it can make a big difference when you do it every day. You can talk about your morning. You can say, I woke up early today. I washed my face. I had breakfast. Now I am drinking tea. These sentences are simple, but they are useful. You are training your brain and your mouth to work together in English. The more you practice simple sentences, the easier speaking becomes. Many learners make one common mistake. Mistake. They try to use difficult English too early. They think that speaking better means using big words and long sentences, but this is not always true. Good English can be simple English. A clear sentence is better than a complicated sentence that is difficult to understand. You can say, I am tired today, instead of trying to create a very long sentence. You can say, I do not understand. When you do not understand something, you can say, can you explain that again? These simple sentences are powerful because you can use them in real conversations. Another important step is to learn phrases instead of only learning individual words. Words. When you learn one word, you may know its meaning, but you may not know how to use it. For example, you may learn the word decision, but if you learn the phrase make a decision, you can use it more easily. You can say, I need to make a decision. You can say, she made a good decision. Learning phrases helps your brain remember natural patterns. It also helps you speak faster, because you do not have to build every sentence from zero. Listening is also very important if you want to speak better. Before you can speak naturally, you need to hear natural English many times. Listen to short English stories. Listen to conversations. Listen to simple videos. Choose English that you can understand. Do not worry if you cannot understand every word. Listen for the main idea. Listen to the way people pronounce words. Listen to the rhythm of their sentences. When you listen every day, your brain starts becoming familiar with English sounds. Slowly, speaking becomes easier. One of the best ways to connect listening and speaking is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a sentence and repeating it immediately. For example, you hear, "I am going to the store." You pause for a moment and say, "I am going to the store." Then you listen again and repeat. Try to copy the speaker's pronunciation, rhythm, and speed. You do not have to be perfect. The goal is to train your mouth. If you practice shadowing for a few minutes every day, you can become more comfortable with English sounds. I remember doing this with simple sentences. At first, it felt strange. I listened to a sentence and tried to copy it. Sometimes my pronunciation sounded different. Sometimes I spoke too slowly. Sometimes I forgot the words. But I continued. After many days, something changed. My mouth became more comfortable with English. I did not need to think about every sound. Some sentences started coming naturally. This is what? You may not notice improvement every day, but after weeks and months, you can see a big difference. Another important habit is talking to yourself in English. You may think this sounds strange, but it is a very useful practice. You do not always need another person to practice speaking. You can speak while you are alone. When you wake up, describe what you are doing. When you cook, talk about the food. When you walk outside, describe what you see. You can say, "The weather is nice today." "The sky is blue." "There are many people outside." "I am walking to the market." These simple sentences give you speaking practice every day. Talking to yourself also helps you stop translating everything in your head. Many learners think in their first language, translate into English, and then speak. This takes time. It can make speaking slow and difficult. Instead, try to think directly in simple English. You do not need to think about complicated ideas. Start with small things. Look at a chair and think, "This is a chair." Look outside and think, "It is raining." Think, "I am hungry." Think, "I need water." These small thoughts train your brain to use English more naturally. Do not be afraid of mistakes. This is one of the most important lessons in speaking English. Mistakes are normal. Every learner makes them. If you wait until your grammar is perfect before speaking, you may wait for a very long time. Instead, speak and learn from your mistakes. If you say something incorrectly, notice it and try again. You can say the sentence again in the correct way. The goal is not to avoid every mistake. The goal is to learn from your mistakes and keep moving forward. Imagine a child learning to walk. The child falls many times. The child does not say, "I will never walk again because I fell." The child gets up and tries again. Learning to speak English is similar. You may make mistakes today, but tomorrow you can try again. You may forget a word, but later you can learn it. You may pronounce something incorrectly, but you can practice it. Every mistake can teach you something. So do not let mistakes stop you. Let them make you stronger. You should also practice speaking about familiar topics. When you speak about something you know, you do not have to think too much about the ideas. This allows you to focus on English. Talk about your family. Talk about your job. Talk about your favorite food. Talk about your daily routine. Talk about your hobbies. Talk about your hometown. Talk about your dreams. You can choose one topic each day and speak about it for 5 minutes. At first, you may repeat the same words. That is okay. Repetition is part of learning. For example, choose the topic my daily routine. You can say, I wake up at 7 o'clock. I get out of bed. I wash my face. Then I have breakfast. After breakfast, I start my work. In the afternoon, I have lunch. In the evening, I relax. At night, I read a little and go to bed. These sentences are simple, but they give you excellent speaking practice. Moi. After practicing this topic several times, you will be able to speak about your routine more easily. More easily. Another good habit is recording your voice. When you record yourself, you can listen to your English carefully. At first, you may feel strange hearing your own voice. That is normal. But do not worry. Listen to the recording and notice what you can improve. Maybe you speak too quickly. Maybe you speak too quietly. Maybe you stop too often. Maybe some words are difficult to pronounce. You can choose one small problem and practice it. After a few weeks, record yourself again. You may be surprised by your progress. You should also slow down when you speak. Speaking quickly does not mean speaking well. Many learners believe that fluent speakers must speak very fast. This is not true. This is not true. Good speakers speak clearly. They give themselves enough time to think. If you need a moment, pause, take a breath, then continue. You can say, let me think, or well, I think. These small phrases give you time to organize your thoughts. Speaking slowly and clearly can make you sound more confident. Remember that fluency is not about perfection. Fluency means being able to continue communicating. You may not know every word. That is okay. If you forget a word, explain it in another way. For example, if you forget the word umbrella, you can say, the thing I use when it rains. This keeps the conversation moving. Do not stop completely because you forgot one word. Use the words you know. Communication is more important than perfection. Another powerful habit is repeating useful sentences many times. When you find a sentence that you like, say it again and again. For example, I am not sure. Repeat it. I am not sure. Say it slowly. Say it naturally. Then make new sentences with the same pattern. I am not sure about that. I am not sure what to do. I am not sure where he is. This helps you learn sentence patterns. Soon, you will be able to create your own sentences more easily. You should also make English part of your daily life. Do not think of English as something you only study for 1 hour. Use English whenever you can. Change your phone language to English. Read simple English messages. Watch short English videos. Listen to English while walking. Wahlberschenzug. Read signs and labels in English. Write your shopping list in English. Think about your plans in English. These small activities give you more contact with the language. The most important thing is consistency. You do not need to practice perfectly every day. You just need to keep going. Some days you may practice for 20 minutes. Other days you may only practice for 5 minutes. That is okay. What matters is that you return to English again and again. A little practice every day can be more useful than a long practice session once a month. So, if you want to speak better in English, start today. Do not wait for the perfect time. Do not wait until you know thousands of words. Do not wait until your grammar is perfect. Start with simple sentences. Listen every day. Repeat what you hear. Talk to yourself. Record your voice. Practice familiar topics. Speak slowly. Learn useful phrases. And most importantly, do not be afraid of mistakes. Your English will not become better in one day, but it can become better every day. One sentence today can become 10 sentences tomorrow. 5 minutes of practice can become 10 minutes. One small conversation can give you more confidence. Every time you speak, you are training yourself. Every time you make a mistake and continue, you are becoming stronger. So believe in yourself. Your English does not have to be perfect to be useful. You do not need to sound like a native speaker to communicate clearly. You simply need to keep practicing. Take one small step today. Speak one sentence. Then speak another. Keep going. Little by little, your fear will become confidence, your silence will become speech, and your English will become stronger. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you enjoyed this lesson, keep practicing and come back for the next chapter. We will continue learning simple and powerful ways to speak better in English. Remember, do not be afraid to speak. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. Keep listening, keep practicing, and keep speaking. Your English journey has already started, and every small step takes you closer to becoming a confident English speaker. Chapter 2: Build Strong Speaking Habits. Speaking English is not only about knowing words, it is also about using those words again and again until they become comfortable. When you create good habits, English becomes a normal part of your day. You do not have to force yourself every time. You simply practice because it has become part of your routine. The first habit you can build is speaking English in the morning. When you wake up, try to say a few simple sentences in English. You can say, "Good morning. I slept well. Today is a new day. I need to get ready. I am going to have breakfast." These sentences are very easy, but they give your brain an early English workout. You do not need a book. You do not need a teacher. You only need yourself. When you start your day with English, you remind your brain that English is something you can use. Not just something you study. Another useful habit, habit, is describing what you are doing. This is one of the easiest ways to practice speaking because you already know what you are doing. If you are making tea, say, "I am making tea." First, I am boiling the water. Now I am putting the tea in the cup. I am adding some milk. If you are cleaning your room, say, "I am cleaning my room." This table is dirty. I need to clean it. Now the room looks better. You are using English to describe your real life. This makes learning easier because the words have a connection with your actions. You can also practice English when you are walking. Look around you and describe what you see. You might see a car, a tree, a shop, a person, or a house. You can say, there is a blue car. A man is walking on the road. The shop is open. The weather is warm today. You do not need complicated sentences. Simple sentences are enough. The goal is to make your brain comfortable with producing English. The more you describe your world in English, the easier it becomes to find words when you are talking to other people. One very important habit is learning useful phrases. Do not only collect hundreds of individual words. Learn how, for example, instead of learning only the word busy, learn the phrase, I am busy right now. Instead of learning only agree, learn I agree with you. Na wat aprikard pkuler learn nod, learn I agree with you. Instead of learning only idea, learn. That is a good idea. These phrases are useful, and when you learn them as complete pieces, you can remember them faster and use them more naturally. I remember how helpful this was when I was learning English. I used to write useful sentences in a small notebook. Whenever I found a sentence that people used often, I wrote it down. Then I read it aloud several times. Later, I tried to make my own sentences with the same pattern. For example, I learned, I would like some water. Then I changed it to, I would like some tea. I would like some food. I would like to ask a question. This simple practice helped me understand how English sentences are built. Another good habit is asking yourself questions. You can ask simple questions and answer them in English. For example, ask yourself, what did I do today? Then answer, I went to work. I talked to my friend. I had lunch. I came home in the evening. You can ask, what do I like? Then answer, I like music. I like reading. I like watching movies. You can ask, what will I do tomorrow? Then answer, tomorrow I will wake up early. I will work. I will practice English. This question and answer method gives you natural speaking practice. Birds. You should also practice speaking without stopping every few seconds. Many learners stop because they are searching for the perfect word. This can make speaking feel difficult. Instead, learn how to continue when you do not know something. If you forget a word, use another word. If you do not know how to explain something, say it in a simple way. For example, if you forget the word comfortable, you can say, it feels good. I like sitting here. You are still communicating. This is an important speaking skill. Another habit is repeating the same topic several times. Choose one topic and talk about it today. Then talk about it again tomorrow. The first time may be difficult. You may stop often. The second time may be easier. The third time may become much better. This happens because your brain becomes familiar with the topic and the words. You do not have to think about every idea again. You can focus more on speaking naturally. For example, choose the topic my family. On the first day, you may say, I have a small family. I live with my family. We spend time together. On the second day, you may add more information. My family is very important to me. We eat together and talk about our day. On the third day, you may speak even longer. This simple repetition can build confidence. You will discover that you know more English than you thought. You should also create a small daily speaking routine. Maybe you can practice for 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, and 5 minutes at night. In the morning, describe your plans. In the afternoon, describe what you are doing. At night, talk about your day. This gives you 15 minutes of speaking practice without making English feel difficult. If you have more time, you can practice longer. But remember, consistency is more important than spending many hours. Once in a while, at night, you can review your speaking practice. Ask yourself, what did I say today? Which words were difficult? Which sentence did I repeat? Then choose 1 or 2 sentences and practice them again. You can even record yourself before sleeping. Listen to your recording and notice your progress. Do not criticize yourself too much. Instead, look for one small thing you can improve tomorrow. Remember, speaking better in English is a journey. You do not need to change everything today. Choose one habit and start with it. Speak in the morning. Describe your actions. Learn useful phrases. Ask yourself questions. Repeat familiar topics. Practice every day. These small habits will slowly become part of your life. One day, you may notice that you are speaking English without thinking so much about it, so keep going. Do not wait for perfect English. Use the English you already know. Add a few new words each day. Repeat useful sentences. Speak about your life. Make mistakes and learn from them. The goal is not to become perfect overnight. The goal is to become a little better every day. Chapter 3. Think in English and speak without fear. We are going to learn how to think in English and speak without fear. Many English learners know many words, but they still find speaking difficult because they translate everything in their head. They first think in their own language, then translate the idea into English, and finally try to speak. This takes time, and it can make conversations feel slow, but with practice, you can train your brain to think more directly in English. When I was learning English, I used to translate almost everything. If I wanted to say something simple, I first thought about it in my own language. Then I searched for the English words. Then I tried to put the words together. Sometimes, before I finished thinking, the conversation had already moved forward. I felt frustrated because I knew the words, but I could not use them quickly. Foreign one might sack. Then I realized that I needed to practice thinking in English. I did not start with difficult ideas. I started with very small thoughts. When I woke up, I thought, I am awake. When I looked outside, I thought, it is sunny today. When I wanted water, I thought, I am thirsty. These small thoughts slowly changed the way my brain used English. You can start this practice today. Look around your room and name the things you see in English. You can think, this is a table. That is a chair. There is a window. My phone is on the table. The door is closed. These sentences are very simple, but they are useful. You are teaching your brain to connect the real world directly with English words. You do not need to translate the word chair into your first language. You simply see the chair and think, chair. This is how English can become more natural in your mind. Another good exercise is to think about your actions. If you are drinking tea, think, I am drinking tea. If you are opening a door, think, I am opening the door. If you are sitting down, think, I am sitting down. If you are going outside, think, I am going outside. These thoughts may seem too easy, but that is exactly why they are useful. You are building a direct connection between your actions and English. Amberdes, Shri. With enough repetition, you will begin to use English more quickly. You can also think about your plans in English. In the morning, ask yourself, what am I going to do today? Then answer with simple English. I am going to work. I need to buy some food. I will call my friend. I want to practice English tonight. You do not need complicated grammar. You only need to communicate your thoughts. If you do this every day, you will become more comfortable thinking about your English. Another important part of speaking better is learning to speak without fear. Fear can stop you even when you know enough English. You may think, what if I make a mistake? What if someone laughs? What if my pronunciation is wrong? These thoughts can make you silent. But remember, mistakes are a normal part of learning. Nobody learns a new language without making mistakes. Your mistakes do not mean that you are bad at English. They mean that you are practicing. They mean that you are practicing. Imagine that you are learning to ride a bicycle. At first, you may lose your balance. You may fall, but you do not stop forever. You get back on the bicycle and try again. Speaking English is similar. You may say a sentence incorrectly. You may forget a word. You may pronounce something badly. That is okay. Correct yourself. Learn from the experience and continue speaking. Every time you continue after a mistake, you become more confident. One helpful way to reduce fear is to practice alone before speaking with other people. You can stand in front of a mirror and talk to yourself. Look at yourself and say, hello, my name is. Today I want to talk about my day. Then continue speaking. You can talk about your work, your family, your favorite food, or your plans. The mirror gives you a chance to practice without pressure. At first, you may feel uncomfortable, but after some time, it can become a normal part of your English practice. You can also practice speaking while walking. Put your phone away and talk quietly to yourself. Describe what you see. There are some people in the street. The weather is nice. A car is coming. That shop is open. If you feel comfortable, you can speak softly. If you are around other people, you can simply think the sentences in English. This gives you another chance to practice thinking and speaking at the same time. Another useful habit is using simple English when you do not know a difficult word. D. Do not stop the conversation because one word is missing. Explain the idea in another way. Suppose you forget the word neighbor. You can say, the person who lives near my house. That is communication. You may not use the exact word, but you successfully explained your meaning. Your meaning. This is an important speaking skill because even advanced speakers sometimes forget words. You can practice this skill with everyday objects. Look at an object and describe it without saying its name. For example, look at a spoon and say, "It is small." I use it when I eat soup. It is usually made of metal. This exercise helps you think creatively in English. You learn that you do not need one perfect word to communicate an idea. You can use the words you know. Another powerful exercise is asking yourself why and how questions. If you say, "I like tea," ask yourself, "Why do I like tea?" Then answer, "Because it is warm and I enjoy the taste." Then ask, "When do I usually drink tea?" You might say, "I usually drink tea in the morning and in the evening." This turns a short sentence into a longer conversation. You can use this exercise with almost any topic. For example, say, "I like watching movies." Then ask yourself, "What kind of movies do I like? Who is my favorite actor? When do I watch movies? Why do I enjoy them? What movie did I watch recently?" Each question gives you another chance to speak. You can practice alone for 5 or 10 minutes. This is a very simple way to build speaking confidence. You should also learn to use small phrases that give you time to think. Sometimes you know what you want to say, but you need a few seconds to organize your thoughts. You can say, "Well, let me think." You can say, "I think." You can say, "In my opinion." You can say, "Actually." You can say, "I am not sure, but." These phrases are useful because they help you continue speaking instead of becoming completely silent. Another important habit is not trying to translate every sentence perfectly. If you are speaking and you stop to find the exact grammar for every sentence, your speech may become slow. Instead, focus on communicating your main idea. Use simple sentences that you know well. If you want to talk about yesterday, you can say, "Yesterday I went to the market. I bought some food. Then I came home." These sentences are simple and clear. You do not need to make them complicated. As you practice, you will naturally learn better grammar and vocabulary. You can improve your speaking while still keeping your sentences simple. In fact, simple sentences can help you build a strong foundation. Once simple sentences become easy, you can connect them. "I went to the market because I needed some food." Then you can add more information. "I went to the market because I needed some food, and I also wanted to meet my friend." Your speaking grows step by step. Listening can also help you think in English. When you hear a useful sentence, do not only understand it. Try to remember it as a complete phrase. If you hear, "What are you doing?" repeat it. Then use it in your own conversations. If you hear, "I am looking for my keys," practice that sentence. Later, you can change it. "I am looking for my phone." "I am looking for my bag." "I am looking for my book." This is how listening becomes speaking practice. You can also create an English-only time every day. Maybe you choose 10 minutes when you will only use English. During those 10 minutes, think in English, speak in English, and read simple English. Do not worry about mistakes. The goal is to stay with English for that short period. As you become comfortable, increase the time. 10 minutes can become 15 minutes. 15 minutes can become 20 minutes. Little by little, English can become more natural. Remember, you do not need to understand every English word before you start thinking in English. You can think with the words you already know. If you know only simple words, use simple thoughts. I am hungry. I am tired. I need to go. I like this. I do not like that. These sentences are enough to begin. Your English thinking ability will grow as your vocabulary grows. Another important thing is to be patient. Your brain has been using your first language for many years. It is normal that English does not become automatic immediately. Give yourself time. Every day, practice a little. Every day, think a little more in English. Every day, speak a little more. You may not notice the change immediately, but your brain is learning. One day, you may suddenly notice something different. You may be walking and realize that you are thinking in English without translating. You may hear someone speaking English and understand the sentence quickly. You may answer a simple question without planning your answer. These small moments are signs that your practice is working. Celebrate them. They show that your brain is becoming more comfortable with English. So, if you want to speak better in English, train your brain as well as your mouth. Think about simple things in English. Describe your actions. Ask yourself questions. Practice in front of a mirror. Talk to yourself. Use simple words when you forget difficult ones. Learn useful phrases. Give yourself time to think. Most importantly, do not be afraid of mistakes. English speaking is not a talent that only a few people have. It is a skill that you can build through practice. You do not need to be perfect. You need to connect every sentence you think, every sentence you say, and every mistake you correct is helping you move forward. Chapter 4. Improve your pronunciation and speak clearly. You may know many English words, but if people cannot understand you easily, communication can become difficult. The good news is that you do not need a perfect accent. You simply need to speak clearly, listen carefully, and practice the sounds that are difficult for you. Many English learners worry too much about having a native accent. They think they must sound exactly like someone from another country. But this is not necessary. English is spoken by people all around the world, and everyone has a different accent. Your goal should not be to erase your own accent. Your goal should be to make your English clear and easy to understand. When you speak clearly, people can follow your ideas more easily. You can communicate with confidence even if your accent is different. When I was learning English, pronunciation was sometimes difficult for me. I knew how a word looked when I read it, but I did not always know how it sounded. Sometimes I pronounced a word according to the letters I saw. Later, I learned that English spelling and pronunciation do not always match. This is why listening is so important. When you learn a new word, do not only look at its meaning. Listen to how people say it, then repeat it several times. One simple habit is to listen before you speak. When you find a new word, listen to the pronunciation. Listen once. Then listen again. After that, repeat the word slowly. Then say it at a normal speed. For example, if you learn the word important, listen carefully to the way it sounds. Then say, important. Repeat it again, Important. After that, use it in a sentence. English speaking practice is important. This helps you connect the sound, the word, and the meaning. You can also practice pronunciation with short sentences. Choose a sentence that is easy to understand. For example, I want to improve my English. Listen to a clear speaker saying the sentence. Then repeat it. Try to copy the rhythm. Do not only copy individual words. Listen to the whole sentence. Say it slowly first, then say it again naturally. This kind of practice is very helpful because real communication is made of sentences, not isolated words. One excellent technique for this is shadowing. We talked about shadowing earlier, but it is especially useful for pronunciation. Listen to a short sentence and repeat it immediately. Try to follow the speaker's rhythm and pauses. If the speaker says, "What are you doing today?" repeat it in the same way. Then listen again. Notice which words sound strong and which words sound softer. You do not need to copy everything perfectly. Just try to get closer each time. Another important part of clear speaking is not speaking too quickly. When you speak too fast, your words can become unclear. You may know the correct pronunciation, but the listener may not understand you because the sounds are too close together. Slow down. Give each word enough space. Take small pauses between ideas. You can say, "Today, I want to talk about my family. They are very important to me." The pause helps the listener understand your message. Speaking slowly can also help you feel more confident. When you speak too quickly, you may become nervous because you are trying to keep up with your own words. When you slow down, you have more time to think. You can choose your words carefully. You can breathe. You can organize your sentence. Remember, speaking slowly does not mean your English is weak. Clear English is more valuable than fast English. Another useful exercise is reading aloud. Choose a simple English story, article, or paragraph. Read it slowly and clearly. Do not rush. Try to pronounce each word carefully. If you find a difficult word, stop and practice it. Then continue. Reading aloud helps your mouth become familiar with English sounds. It also helps you notice words that you may understand when reading silently but find difficult to say. You can make reading aloud more useful by recording yourself. Use your phone to record your voice while you read. Then listen to the recording. Ask yourself, can I understand every word? Am I speaking too quickly? Do I pause in the right places? Are some sounds difficult? Do not worry if you hear mistakes. The purpose of recording is to discover what you can improve. Record yourself again after a few days and compare the two recordings. Another good exercise is practicing difficult sounds. Some English sounds may not exist in your first language, so they can feel strange at first. Do not become frustrated. Choose one sound and practice it slowly. Listen to examples of words containing that sound. Repeat them. Then use them in short sentences. Practice a little every day instead of trying to master everything in one session. You should also pay attention to the end of words. Sometimes learners pronounce the beginning of a word clearly, but make the ending too soft, or leave it out. For example, the final sound can change the meaning of a word. So when you speak, try to finish your words clearly. You do not need to exaggerate the sounds, but you should make them noticeable enough for the listener. Another important skill is sentence rhythm. English does not sound like every word has the same amount of stress. And some words are stronger, while other words are softer. You can learn this naturally by listening. For example, in the sentence, "I want to go home," some words may sound stronger than others. Listen to native and fluent English speakers and notice the rhythm. Then repeat the whole sentence. This can make your speech sound smoother and more natural. You can also practice with songs. English songs can be fun and useful for pronunciation. Choose a song with clear words and a comfortable speed. Listen to one line, pause the song, repeat the line, then listen again. Singing can help you practice rhythm and pronunciation because you naturally repeat the same sounds many times. You do not have to understand every song. Choose simple songs that you enjoy. Watching English videos is another excellent way to improve pronunciation. Choose videos where the speaker talks clearly. Listen to a short part. Pause it. Repeat what you heard. Then continue. You can do this with stories, interviews, lessons, or simple conversations. The important thing is to listen actively. Do not only watch for entertainment. Pay attention to how the speaker forms sounds and connects words. One thing you should remember is that pronunciation improves through listening and repetition. You cannot learn pronunciation only by reading grammar rules. You need to hear English. You need to say English. You need to hear yourself speaking. This is why regular speaking practice is so important. Your mouth needs practice just like your brain does. Do not feel embarrassed when you practice sounds. Some learners avoid speaking because they think their pronunciation sounds funny. But remember that you are learning. Everyone starts somewhere. If you practice alone, you have a safe place to make mistakes. Tung threed board. Say the word 10 times. Say it 20 times if necessary. The goal is not to impress anyone. The goal is to train yourself. Another useful habit. Is learning the pronunciation of useful everyday words. Do not try to learn hundreds of difficult words at once. Start with words you actually use. Learn how to pronounce words related to your home, work, family, food, travel, and daily activities. When you know how to pronounce common words clearly, everyday conversations become easier. You can also practice pairs of words that sound similar. Listen carefully and notice the difference. Say each word slowly, then say them at a normal speed. This type of practice teaches your ears to notice small differences in English sounds. Your listening and speaking improve together because you are training your brain to hear the difference and your mouth to produce it. Another important thing is to use pauses naturally. Pauses are not a sign that you do not know English. They are a normal part of speaking. If you need time to think, pause. Take a breath, then continue. You can use phrases such as, "Let me think," "well," or "I mean." These phrases give you time and make your speech feel more natural. You should also practice speaking in complete thoughts. Instead of saying many separate words, try to connect them into a simple sentence. For example, instead of saying yesterday, market, food, home, say yesterday, I went to the market and bought some food. The second sentence is clearer and easier for the listener to understand. You do not need difficult grammar. You simply need to connect your ideas. Remember that clear pronunciation comes from patience. You may practice a sound today and still make mistakes tomorrow. That is normal. Do not give up. Your mouth needs time to learn new movements. Keep listening. Keep repeating. Keep recording yourself. Keep reading aloud. Slowly, the sounds will become easier. You should also celebrate small improvements. Maybe today you can pronounce one difficult word better. Maybe you can read a paragraph without stopping. Maybe someone understands you more easily. These are important achievements. Do not wait until your English is perfect before you feel proud. Every small improvement shows that your practice is working. The best pronunciation practice does not need to be complicated. You can spend 5 minutes listening, 5 minutes repeating, and 5 minutes reading aloud. You can do this every day. If you have more time, practice longer. But even a short daily routine can help. The secret is repetition and consistency. So remember the main ideas from this chapter. Listen carefully. Repeat what you hear. Practice useful words. Read aloud. Record your voice. Slow down. Use natural pauses. Focus on clear pronunciation instead of trying to copy a perfect accent. Practice difficult sounds patiently. And most importantly, when you practice this way, your pronunciation can become clearer and your confidence can grow. You will begin to notice that words come out more easily. You will feel less nervous when speaking. You will understand other speakers better because your ears are becoming stronger. Listening and speaking will support each other. Chapter 5. Learn more words and use them in real conversations. Many learners think that they need to memorize thousands of words before they can speak English. Well, but this is not true. You do not need to know every English word. You need to know useful words and learn how to use them correctly. When I was learning English, I used to write many new words in a notebook. At first, I thought that learning more words would automatically make me a better speaker. But after some time, I noticed something. I knew many words, but I did not use them when I spoke. I could recognize them when I read them, but when I needed them in a conversation, I could not remember them quickly. Then I understood that knowing a word and using a word are two different things. If you want to speak better, you must practice using your vocabulary, not just memorizing it. Start with words that you use in your everyday life. Think about your home, your family, your work, your food, your hobbies, your feelings, and your daily activities. These are the topics you talk about most often. If you learn useful words connected to your real life, you will have more chances to use them. For example, if you often cook, learn words such as boil, cut, wash, cook, plate, spoon, and kitchen. Then make sentences with them. I am cutting the vegetables. The water is boiling. The food is ready. This makes vocabulary useful. Another important habit is learning words in groups. Instead of learning one word alone, learn related words together. For example, If you learn the word happy, you can also learn sad, excited, angry, worried, and tired. Then practice sentences with each word. I am happy today. She is tired. He looks worried. This helps you talk about different situations and feelings. You do not need to memorize a huge list. Learn a small group and use it many times. You should also learn phrases, because real conversations are full of phrases. For example, do not only learn help. Learn can you help me? Do not only learn understand. Learn I understand. I do not understand. And I understand what you mean. Do not only learn agree. Learn I agree with you. These phrases are ready to use. When you practice them many times, they can come to your mind quickly during a conversation. One useful method is to choose 5 new words each day. 5 words are enough. Do not try to learn 50 words in one day. If you learn too many words, you may forget most of them. Choose 5 useful words, write them down. Write them down, learn their meanings. Write them down. Learn their meanings. Listen to their pronunciation. Make simple sentences. Then use those words during the day. At night, review them. This small habit can give you a strong vocabulary over time. For example, imagine that your 5 words are busy, quiet, prepare, enjoy, and improve. You can make simple sentences. I am busy today. This room is quiet. I need to prepare dinner. I enjoy reading. I want to improve my English. Then try to connect them. I am busy today, but I still want to practice English. Because I want to improve. You are not only learning words, you are learning how to use them together. Another excellent habit is using a new word immediately. Do not wait until tomorrow. If you learn the word beautiful, use it today. You can say, the weather is beautiful. This flower is beautiful. The view is beautiful. If you learn the word comfortable, say, this chair is comfortable. My shoes are comfortable. The more you use a word, the stronger the memory becomes. You can also create your own stories with new words. Suppose you learn the words market, rain, umbrella. You learn the words market, rain, umbrella, friend, and food. Make a small story. Yesterday, I went to the market with my friend. It started to rain, so I opened my umbrella. We bought some food and went home. This story uses only simple English, but it helps you remember the words because they are connected to an event. Another important thing is learning words from context. When you hear or read a new word in a story, try to understand how it is being used. Do not only memorize the dictionary meaning. Look at the whole sentence. For example, if you see, I am looking forward to the weekend, you should learn the whole phrase looking forward to, not just the individual words. Then make your own sentence. I am looking forward to my vacation. She is looking forward to meeting her friend. This is much more useful for speaking. You should also review your vocabulary regularly. Learning a word once is not enough. You need to see it and use it many times. You can review your 5 words after one day, then after a few days, and then again the following week. You can write them in a notebook or use simple flashcards. When you review, do not only read the meaning, try to remember the word and make a sentence with it. Another powerful technique is asking yourself questions with new words. If your new word is excited, ask yourself, what makes me excited? Then answer, I feel excited when I travel. If your new word is difficult, ask, what is difficult for me? You might answer, speaking English is difficult sometimes. This method forces you to use the word actively. Active use helps vocabulary become part of your speaking. You can also practice vocabulary while talking to yourself. Imagine that you are preparing breakfast. Use your new words while describing what you are doing. If you learned prepare, say, I am preparing breakfast. If you learned fresh, say, the fruit is fresh. If you learned healthy, say, this is a healthy breakfast. You are turning vocabulary practice into real speaking practice. Another helpful idea is to avoid learning words that you will never use. Sometimes learners spend a lot of time memorizing difficult words because they think. Difficult vocabulary makes them sound intelligent. But if you cannot use the word naturally, it may not help you much. Start with common words. Learn words that help you express your thoughts, feelings, needs, and opinions. Simple vocabulary used correctly is better than difficult vocabulary used incorrectly. You should also learn different ways to say the same idea. For example, instead of always saying I like it, you can say I really like it. I enjoy it. It is great. It is wonderful. I am a big fan of it. You do not need to memorize all these expressions at once. Learn them slowly. This gives you more choices when you speak and helps your English sound more natural. Another good practice is changing one sentence in several ways. Start with, I am tired. Then make different sentences. I am very tired. I am a little tired. I was tired yesterday. I feel tired after work. I am tired because I did not sleep well. This exercise helps you understand how words can move around in sentences. It also makes you more flexible when speaking. Remember that vocabulary is not only about nouns. Learn verbs, adjectives, and useful expressions, too. Verbs are especially important because they help you explain actions. Words like decide, choose, remember, forget, imagine, believe, need, want, and hope can help you express many ideas. Learn them in sentences. I need to practice. I want to improve. I hope you understand. I believe I can do it. These are useful speaking patterns. You should also learn words about your feelings. Feelings. Speaking becomes easier when you can explain how you feel. Learn words such as happy, sad, nervous, excited, tired, angry, worried, proud, and confident. Then practice sentences. I feel nervous when I speak English. I feel proud when I finish my practice. I feel excited when I learn something new. Being able to explain your feelings can make conversations more meaningful. Another important skill is using vocabulary when talking with other people. If you have a friend who is learning English, choose 5 words together. Then have a short conversation using those words. Ask questions, answer questions, make mistakes, laugh, try again. If you do not have a speaking partner, you can still practice alone by pretending to have a conversation. Imagine someone asks, "What did you do today?" Answer naturally. Then imagine another question. Continue for 5 minutes. You can also use English in real situations whenever possible. If you go shopping, think about the words you need. If you travel, practice useful travel phrases. If you talk about your job, learn words connected to your work. The more English you use in real situations, the more useful your vocabulary becomes. Do not become frustrated when you forget words. Forgetting is normal. Sometimes you will know a word when you see it, but you will not remember it when speaking. This does not mean you failed. It means your brain needs more practice. Try again later. Write the word down. Use it in another sentence. The next time you need it, you may remember it faster. You can also keep a small vocabulary notebook. Divide it into simple sections. Secchi. You can have a section for daily life, feelings, work, travel, food, and common phrases. When you learn a new word, write one simple sentence with it. Do not fill the notebook with long definitions. Keep it simple. The goal is to make the notebook useful for speaking practice. Another great habit is reviewing your old vocabulary instead of always searching for new words. Sometimes learners become excited about new vocabulary and forget the words they already learned. Review old words and use them again. Try to create new sentences. When old words become easy to use, you will feel more confident. Most importantly, remember that speaking better does not mean knowing every word in English. Even fluent speakers do not know every word. What matters is knowing enough useful language to communicate your ideas. If you know a word, use it. If you forget a word, explain it another way. If you make a mistake, correct it and continue. Keep the conversation moving. Your vocabulary will grow naturally when you listen, read, speak, and repeat. Every story you listen to can teach you new words. Every conversation can teach you new phrases. Every book can give you useful expressions. Every mistake can show you what you need to learn next. English is everywhere, so use the world around you as your classroom. Now I want you to take action. Do not just listen to this lesson and move on. Choose 5 useful English words today. Write them down. Learn their pronunciation. Make one sentence with each word. Then speak those sentences aloud. After that, try to use the 5 words in a short story about your day. Tomorrow, review them and choose 5 more. If you do this every day, your vocabulary will slowly become stronger, and your speaking will become easier. And remember, you do not need to practice for hours. Start with 10 or 15 minutes. Make your practice simple. Make it enjoyable. Make it consistent. The small things you do every day can create a big change over time. One sentence becomes a conversation. One conversation becomes confidence. If you are enjoying this English speaking journey, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss the next lesson. If this chapter helped you, please like the video and tell me in the comments, what are 5 English words you want to use more often. Write them in the comments and try to make a sentence with one of them. Your comment may also help another English learner who is practicing with you. Thank you so much for learning with me today. Keep listening, keep learning, and keep speaking. Do not wait until your English is perfect. Use the English you know today and improve it tomorrow. Every new word you learn is another tool you can use. Every sentence you speak is another step toward confidence. Keep going. Believe in yourself. And remember that your English can become better every single day. I will see you in the next chapter,